Hello guys, this is Namkraft. Welcome to this is Starcraft English commentary. Do you think that my voice sounds strange? If it does, let me know in the comments because I'm gonna give you a quiz right off the bat. Something very interesting is happening today. Not really this game in particular, but something a little bit more related to me. So here's the quiz, guys. Please answer this quiz right off the bat, and I will give the answer in the second set of this series. Where am I today? The first answer is in a forest. The second answer is in a basement. The third answer is in an airport. And the fourth answer is in a bathroom. Which location do you think is more befitting for me to be in today? The airport, the bathroom, the forest, or basement? And I will leave the answer to that or those questions in the video, I guess the second video. So that's that. Anyways, this is gonna be the quarterfinal number 2 between Jaedong and Light. Very exciting series ahead of us here, and we already know that the player who qualified in advance of these two players is Best, and he will be waiting patiently in the semi-final. So that's that. And yeah, so I guess sorry, we're gonna just quickly review, who is gonna be the, the other opponent, who is gonna be playing best tomorrow. By the way, yeah, I'm gonna be in a very kind of precarious situation today, for the reason that I already discussed. So my commentary will be slightly off. I hope you would just forgive me for that. And here are gonna be some information. So first of all, this map is gonna be Dominator. The first map is Dominator, and then we will have Deja Vu, Radion, Polestar, Metropolis, Death Valley, and then another map I forgot to pick up. There's one more missing map, I think, after this. I'm not sure. I think it's Polestar, Metropolis. I think we got there's one more. Eventually we'll figure out, I think. But anyways, Jaedong Mrs. Light, this will be exciting here. Now, of course, Jaedong is very, very aggressive usually, and he's proven that he's so strong these days. He's not. He used to be not so good in the old days, but in the last 1 month or so, his performance has been rather amazing. So let's hope, let's hope that we're going to be having some nice game today. We're going to be having the SCV already discovering, the location of the base. And by the way, I don't have the the second monitor here today because my location, as I told you, is very, very precarious. So if you already guessed what my location is today, please go ahead and leave a comment. If you have not guessed, go ahead and guess, because that's that. So sometimes I'm actually casting, but I'm actually not seeing the screen. I'm seeing something else, so that is that. But anyways, looks like there's gonna be some very, standard stuff from both these players, because right now, the meta for TVZ is about 14 CC for the Terran player, and for the Zerg player, it's gonna be, trying to go for something else because Terran is just so strong with 3 mag. It looks like Light is not one of those players. As you can see, he is not gonna take. He's gonna be building a second barracks instead of his, main. So that is, foretelling of what kind of build he's going to be going for. It's not going to be a 353 build that Flash has envisioned. That has been just so crazy, in fashion lately. It is going to be a standard opening here for Light, and we know that this opening, it's all about trying to get inside the Zerg space, before he can actually get to the fight attack. Be it at a front door with a front door attack, before lurkers can be in position, especially at the third base. Or it could be also simply about trying to go for drops. And that is going to be what we're going to be looking forward here. But for the timing, it looks like both these are going to be opening up a standard. Yeah, as I was mentioned to you the other day, yesterday actually to be precisely, Light is #1 in the ELO scores today. And I shall review to you shortly what exactly is his current location. Because he's still quite very much up there. He's he's #2 nowadays, which is going to show you to you. Momentarily, there's going to be a hatchery coming out there. It's going to be a slightly sneaky hatchery because normally you expect him to be at the 1 o'clock position, but 2 o'clock position is also not bad. So here are the ELO scores for today. I just picked it up a few minutes before the game started, even though I was still in a very precarious situation, bathroom or airport or forest or basement. I could still pick up this information. There's going to be Snow at the #1, Light at #2, and Jaedong has fallen down to, what is it, 10, 9, 8, 7, #7 to be precise. So I mean, very standard stuff coming from both of these players. And let me just quickly check at the win rate for the for the last 30 days. As you can see, Jaedong against Terran is 47% out of 64 games, and as for Light against Zerg, it's also good, 50%. His weakest matchups. So both of these players are playing in their respectively weakest matchups, and that's gonna be very interesting. Anyways, Marines gonna start to move across the map, and the first sunken is done, but it will not be able to stop these Marines. The Zerg is on the map. We have to buy as much time as possible. There's only one medic to heal the 7 men though. Well, this ratio to medic to man is not good here. You want to have more medics, right? Definitely not more men. Sometimes you say we need more men, but actually we need more ladies. Is gonna be the better way to put it. When you're in the army and one Marine gets sniped right away, that's not good, and Light's gonna have to go back now. There's no way that he can actually go on with a move unless he go over the second round of troops. That now looks like the Mutuals are going to be here. The Mutualists are going to be here, so things are going to start to calm down a bit while we wait for the, the Mutualists versus Scourge, Mutualists versus Marines and Turrets attack here. Actually, I'm not looking at the screen and I'm doing some other stuff in the background because I am, casting. I'm also preparing for the videos to be uploaded to YouTube. I'm preparing the metadata. I'm doing all of the other drinking coffee. I'm working out. It's just amazing stuff happening right now at the same time. So you have to excuse me. I will go back to the screen very soon. But anyways, it looks like I am seeing the Mutuals gonna be having some nice engagement with the Marines, but so far looks like not much separate between these on this map Dominator. We want to just quickly check what is going to be the win rates for the Zerg and Terran players in general. So let me just pull it up for you here. So for Zerg players, as they play against Terran, as you can see, Dominator is 44.3%. This is not a good. This is not a good map by any means for Zerg, but I'm not so sure who picked this. I did not have time to research that in advance. But nonetheless, it is going to be one of the worst maps here for Jaedong. But Jaedong's gonna have a chance here. But I think I kind of know why. I guess because you are gonna be on the same elevation as the rest of the map. You want to have a bit of a ramp to protect against, and the base that he has taken, as you can see, the 2 o'clock position, 130 is not really the right elevation, but these Mutuals are doing good damage. There are about 11 of them now. They just have to come out. I think one Mutuals was sniping down engagement, so now only 10 remaining, and Light is still going to be able to come out here with a nice hold, and there is going to be more Mutualist reshuffling happening in the background, so they start to come in and more engagements happening, and this will be some very nice micro, I think, for both of these players, especially for Jaedong. He's looking very strong. So let's see if he's going to be able to come out with more stuff and eventually, try to survive until his hive tech and the pilot tech come into play here. We're going to be having the starport coming up, and these Mutuals going to try to dive in. The turret will protect the Marines. They're all hugging each other now with an SCV repairing. Is that going to be a factory? That's going to be an armory. It should be not a factory. The factory is already built. So I was not paying attention. But anyways, we're looking at the 8-minute mark of the game, and Jaedong's got 54 supply, Light's got 59. Very standard openings in much similar situation to not really one player's ahead, but it looks like Jaedong's really consistent with his strategy. Keep in mind that this is going to delay his tech a little bit. And also his drone count would not be so healthy. He's got +1 weapons, and I think he's playing to the map Dominator to the full effect because as on Dominator, you can kind of surround the enemy from the air from all angles. You can go in from the top side like what Jaedong's doing now. You can go in from the right side. You can even go from the left side if you attack the extension. And if you do not get any damages down the expansion, you can going down south, and there's a small black area wedged behind the expansion and the main that can only be accessible by air, and you can hide your Mutuals there. So a lot of openings here for the offending player. That's gonna be Jaedong. For the timing, Light just need to kind of stay put, survive, do not lose too many Marines, not lose too many turrets, and try to apply a bit of pressure outwards so that these Mutuals know that they need to be constantly on the aggression. Otherwise, the Marines can come out and punish the rest of the Zerg bases. But for the timing, Hive's transition has started. We're gonna be seeing lurkers coming up momentarily, but of course, none of this is consequential. We're gonna be having double stopper flicking, and I'm gonna say that it is. It's hard to say, but I'm gonna say this is gonna be just purely science vessels. I think science vessels is the way to go here. It's the safer way to go. I mean, there are a lot of other ways to use a starport. One is to be going for Valkyries. The other one is going to be going for dropship. But in this map, with these many Mutualists, I don't think dropship is right. It's going to be going for Valkyries. It's going to be interesting. I'm not so sure that Valkyrie is the right answer here. I guess Valkyrie is like going for cosmetic surgery. It gives you a quick and easy and relatively, I guess a little bit painful, but relatively cheap way to get beauty, right? You don't have to work out, you don't have to eat well, you don't have to live well. You can just go into the going into the hospital and you get it done. That's basically what happened. But you know, how do you survive that? How do you how do you go to the long run and live with the fact that you might have these permanent scars on your face at all times? So that is something that I think you know, we have to think about basically. So that's basically what Valkyries are. If you go for Valkyries, they're easy, cheap, they're easy to maneuver, but how can you fight against lurkers? Valkyries can only fight against mutalists. And if you don't do damages quick enough to the mutalists, those Valkyries become useless. But we've seen Light in some of the games he played. He's played something like 6 or 7 Valkyries and use Valkyries to go for overlock hunting. So that's a different way to play Valkyries that we don't normally see in TVZ. But anyways, we're having Jaedong slightly supply block here, Light A94 supply, Jaedong 87. We're going to be seeing these lurkers trying to defend themselves. And various you know, units around the map are having some nice positioning. Looks like Light is going to push against the third phase. I think there's adequate defenses there. There's not enough anti-air, I'm saying. So these you know, Valkyries can start to go to work on the overlords. Of course, there's going to be a threat of you know, a Scourge is coming out, but for the time being, these Valkyries are going to execute 3 overlords right here. The Scourges are not in the right position to intercept, and Marines are there to kind of, you know, catch any kind of flying units that come in between. I'm going to be having a nice attack, and this Lurker is going to get pushed back. So this base is going to be temporarily kind of separated from the others. But of course, as you know, there is that you know, single Nanisca now getting created right now. More Scourges coming in. These Valkyries need to turn around. They need to turn around this right side, and they are about to lose themselves. But the end last with all these Scourges going to get side by Marines. Going to be careful not to lose himself against the mutalists here. We're going to be having some nice battles happening. We're going to be having quick expansion coming off the Light in a 9 o'clock position. For the time in, Jaedong has got Defiler, so he has survived the initial Terran onslaught. And I really like Jaedong's position now because, you know, he's got Defilers. He's kept most of his mutalists intact, which will be able to help, you know, against any kind of drops in the future. But just as I say that, he loses the bulk of his mutalists. We're going to be having Scourges coming out trying to intercept, and these Scourges will have to be super careful. They die very, very quickly to these, you know, Valkyries fire. Oh my god, these Witches gonna try to run away. Can they actually escape? Looks like Witches all died, and Light is looking very strong though. So I guess unless Jaedong can do something with his Defiant attack started to move out, then things will be a little bit different. But because for now we'll be having Vultures and Vultures at mines that finish researching, as you can see. So and that is something to keep in mind. Of course, on this map, the way that Jaedong has been playing, he could not have access to an easy fourth base. It's not possible. The 1 o'clock position is possibly the base that you want to take as Jaedong here. That base is being guarded by 1 red dot. I assume that's going to be a single Marine or a single NCD or something like that. But you know, he could actually try to take it. But there's no easy front base protecting the back. If it looks like Light is going to transition into mech, this is an interesting way to play. And like I said, in TVZ, at some point you want to switch into mech, especially when the Zerg player is Sterling card. You know, get your tank count going, start to lay some mines around on the various locations on the map, and just use your remaining Marines to just to be a little bit annoying on the field here. But anyways, we'll be having very nice units coming out from Light, but he's gonna have to eye the 1 o'clock position now. We have some lurkers in the position. There's gonna be some vultures waiting to assault any kind of units getting transferred. This Defiler could actually catch something. Not so sure exactly what is gonna come out. And he like those Marines, which could be a nice idea, but I'm not so sure if that is going to be something. I'm gonna eat some grapes, guys. So if you hear some chewing noise, it's actually grapes. And these grapes are like really delicious. They're sweet and like nice juicy. Source of vitamin C. Wow, amazing. The only problems I have with grapes is that they have these tiny things called seeds or pits or whatever they're called, and I don't like them because, you know, it stops me from swallowing the entire grape without having to chew anything. But anyways, back to this game. What are we saying? A single Scourge coming out to attack, then I just go for reconnaissance. What he can see, the number of factories, 4 5 factories in double starport. And Jaedong should be worried because now, you know, Defiler is no longer a viable option. You need to switch into Queens. And you know, some very interesting plays have to go around here. Anyways, for now, I think Light could benefit from the 5th base. I mean, the 6 o'clock position is a viable option here to try to go there and just try to get on the base up, because Jaedong cannot leave this base for a long time, and these mines will be buying so much time. You know, look at the red stuff around the map. There's just so much, you know, so much red everywhere. It's gonna be impossible for Jaedong to move out. He's gonna eat one of the lurkers. He's gonna cast a Dark Swan to protect himself, and now Night is gonna come up. So for the time, we will be seeing these vultures going to try to go up, and drones going to get transferred correctly though on the high ground. So I don't think Light could penetrate even with Mech. Looks like, is that going to be a sunken, or it looks like Legion is going to try to go to, and Lurkers need to come down south, and some of the drones going to get sniped now. But these Lurkers have delayed, they have gone themselves, and Maurice going to get attacked. And it looks like there's going to be some vultures trying to buy some time. What is under the docks, I'm not so sure exactly. George are forced to get evacuated, and that Lurkers need to survive. They need to reach that area. It does reach it without hitting any mines. When there's a second mine, the mine exploded. But I think the Lurker is still alive. The Lurker is still alive, but looks like the hatchery has fallen. And what is that building being built? Is that a Nidus canal? Or is it a hatchery? It looks to me like that could be a Nidus. No, that's not going to be another hatchery. So that hatchery for the time, okay, Heath Blake, his own hatchery, is kind of like a necessary evil almost, I guess. But anyways, now these Marines go forward. Knight's gonna take him to the base, but Jaedong is up in supply, so what was Light doing this entire time is a mystery to me. He should be up in supply because he should be making a lot of tanks in Goliath and going for upgrades. I guess the upgrades on the mech units should be strong right now. I'm gonna eat another grape, guys.
자원적인 부분에서 좀 압박을 받게 됐고 아무리 저그가 지금 히드라 디팔로의 그런 위력이 강하다 하더라도 마인 때문에 아주 빠르게 진출도 하고
very delicious. They're not from my country. My country is not known to have amazing grapes. They are known to have amazing, human grapes, if you know what I mean, but not these natural animal-like grapes. Anyways, what are we seeing now? Looks like some Hydra's gonna move across the map, and we're gonna try to deplete the remaining Marine forces. But yeah, Light has gotta be worried because he needed to complete his max switch by now. He should have at least 5 or 6 tanks at the moment. Looks like only now he started to go up. He's got about 6 tanks. So I guess he was doing fine the entire time. But Defiler is reaching the middle area, and Light is taking another command center yet at the 430 position. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 command center. This Defiler is gonna cast a nice Dark Swarm here. He's gonna cast another one on the bunker, and it's gonna be within reach of that bunker now. And the Lurker's gonna move to, and of course those tanks can still do a lot of damage. It's one Lurker is deployed up. It's gonna be careful. There's gonna be a lot of mines here. He's gonna destroy the bunker. The bunker will fall. Keep in mind that splash damage is a real thing. But now at least the frontal wall has been busted. He's gonna be careful to kill all of the mines and maybe go and hide somewhere else. The Hydra's gonna try to attack, but now I think now that Dark Swarm is not gonna be within reach of the command center. So the command center will live for a while. These tanks are attacking something else, not really the Hydras, but who's assaulting those SCVs. The game is gonna be looking very interesting here. We're almost to the 17-18 minute mark of the game, and it's gonna be some nice battles in the middle. Defiler almost getting sniped, but those vultures I was gonna say vultureless. Those vultureless. Yes, vultureless is a thing, guys. When a vulture and fighting with a Hydroless, or maybe they combine together, they're called vultureless. But anyways, SCV is getting denied, coming towards the 7:30, 6 o'clock position. Yeah, so Jaedong has survived the onslaught, and he's inflicting some serious damage to Light. Light loses the command center. He might lose another one if his enemy discovered this, as we need to go back out. Anyways, a single Lurker is going to get pushed back. So Jaedong was in a kind of a seriously sad situation a few minutes ago, but now he's not looking so bad. But he needs to take a 5th base. 4 bases is alright, but when Terran is taking 5 bases, you want to try to go to another base soon at some point in the future. Especially when you know the Terran scales a lot better. Those tanks are really beefy. It looks like the Hydras have +2 weapons and +1 weapons. Most of the tanks that possibly have +1 right now. This could be Queen. Of course, Queen is the right way to play this drone. It's gonna get denied, and it's gonna try to go back. Anyways, so some forces moving across the map to try to clear that base. And yeah, very interesting stuff. So I'd say that the build itself is not so interesting because bio into Mac, whatever. Like the very standard stuff. There's no intricacy. There is no gallantry. There's no chivalry in it. It's very basic, but now it's very animalistic. This kind of builds that these guys are going for. We have a max switch, which is nice, but it's not elegant. It's not elegant Starcraft. Elegant Starcraft is like, I don't know. It's like going for three fact Goliaths, or something like going for 2 base rush to Lurkers or something like that, or go for mass vultures attack against their player. But anyways, gonna have some major battles, so at least the macro battles is nice. The Defiler would cast something, he's gonna be very careful. The Hydra almost died there, and the Defiler is gonna be able to cast a Dark Storm to cover for those areas, and he needs to actually go for the expansion. Now the drone gets sniped. That drone got sniped. So on the 5th base, or Jaedong is slowly getting denied. So he's got to think about something. I would say that at some point in the future, drop would be very nice. How about dropping the 9 o'clock position, because you can easily access it from your main, you know, and it's going to be a way to pull up the Terran players. But keep in mind that the Zerg's strongest weapon in late game against both Protoss and Terran is the ability to go for Nidus canals and drops together. I mean, those are like double recalls. With the drops and with the Nidus canal, you can go practically anywhere on the map, like easily. Anyways, nice attack in the middle of the map. Zealot's gonna drive the mine onto the tanks. 5 tanks gonna try to explode. Nice attack here, and the tanks exploding very nicely. And then the attacks will happen in the middle. So this battle is won by Jaedong, but I'm not so sure if it's got some consequence, because there's no bases there. There are no bases, and the tanks gonna set up another DMZ line at this south of that position. Alright, there are 5 SCVs on gas. Light need to fix that at some point in the future. But anyways, 20th minute of the game, Light 172 supply and Jaedong 170. So some very nice battles incoming in, and Jaedong's gonna double expand. He needs to do that. If Jaedong takes this base, let's take a quick base count. So Jaedong would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases, and Light's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 1 base not yet taken. So that is the road not yet taken, formed by Robert Frost, right? In the middle woods, 2 roads path. One has some green grass, and the other one's got some yellow, very sickly, ill-looking, I don't know, barren, desert-like streets or roads. And I took one without looking at the other, and that has made all of the difference. But sometimes I think about, you know, what would happen. I've taken the other road, the road that is less traveled. That's basically what I always think about. You know, what if I didn't become a Starcraft commentator? I guess I have not really become a Starcraft commentator because it's not really a job. I'm not hired, and I'm not even good at it. But you know, what if I spend my time doing other things? What if I become a League of Legends commentator? It will be a lot more fun. Anyways, Nidus Canal's gonna start come up, and we're gonna be having some Queen action now. Too bad the player Queen has been eliminated from the ASL, but if he was player, he would be, you know, honoring these moves. Nice attacks on those tanks, and that has played, you know, fair and square dividend. And keep in mind, if you remember, someone said that if you use your queens once on the tank, you already pay for your queens. So that is very nice. And we're really having what's happening now. There is going to be some nice queen in the middle of the map once again, going for some nice attacks. And yeah, looks like these queens are gonna get irradiated, but he will cast a few more of those baby Zergling thingy, which pushes all of these tanks. But supply-wise, Light is still ahead by about 10 supply, but Jaedong with his regenerating queen will be having a nice advantage here. Looks like there's gonna be some nice attacks in the middle. Maybe Prisma would bottom a bit because maybe it's not so good. Because I'm using like a freaking headphones. I'm not using the right gear for this. Anyways, more tanks coming through, and we're gonna be having once again nice attacks. So this can just happen all day. He's casting these baby queens, and Hydra's coming up to finish up the mob, and he's gonna be fighting against the high ground. The tanks are sleeping very nicely here. We're going to be saying Hydra's assaulting this area, and he's able to snipe the hatchery. Go for the freaking infestation on the command center, man, because it's free. You know that the queen can actually infest the command center without having to research. You need to send it right now. He's sniping the extractor first. He's going to try to snipe the command center as much as possible, and there's a queen right behind it. But he will get 1 tank first. Of course, that tank will fall. More reinforcement coming through the middle map. We're not seeing it right now. The Hydras are going to burn themselves, and maybe just trying to go for some SCVs or something. Anyways, more attacks in the middle, but they're going to bleed slowly to this tank fire. It looks like Jaedong's gonna back up. Jaedong is slightly supply block now. Very nice game between these two players. 23 supply. This is the 23rd minute between these two players, and there's still about 6 queens left. But Queen, this means Jaedong has not yet expanded to the 3 o'clock position, so that's gonna be something. His mineral count is not so bad. I mean, he's exhausted some of the bases, but he will have a couple of more, you know, bases to work with. And we're gonna be having these, you know, tanks started to encroach on the enemy here. More army moving through the map. He does have a nice canal, but I think it looks like in the last minute, but Light is going to back up because he senses there's going to be a counter attack. This is not a bad idea. There's going to be a nice dark on to cover all of those times, and he can go for the command center. Nice attack by the science vessels on those queens now. This Defiler needs to cast a nice plague. It does cast a plague, it will destroy Goliath, but looks like this base is going to get saved here. And those queens, not so sure exactly what is going to be playing, but now Light's going to come out to attack this news bay. There's a single Nidus canal guarding it. The tanks will be on high ground. Zerling's going to try to attack. Try to slow down the tanks. They need to keep that Nidus canal, you know, alive as much as possible. He signed a Definer through it. Cracklings are looking very good. These queens are not so sure how much energy. 94, I think 100 is what you need to cast those baby queens, right? Indeed, he's gonna cast two baby queens and Cloak Wraith. Cloak Wraith coming out, and those queens need to go and hide. The Hydras are here to protect. Where are the Overlords? There's a single Overlord. That Overlord's gonna get sniped out. More Overlords gonna come through, and these Cloak Wraiths gonna get sent back. Now, Light is one of the very innovative and genius player. He loves to go for Cloak Wraiths against Zerg in the late game. Anyways, one more queen's gonna get sniped. I guess this is also investment, because you're investing in Clockwork technology. It's not really something that you want to do against a Zerg player, but if you can kill a couple of queens with it, I guess it's worth it, and you will keep that cloak technology forever until the end of the game. I remember one game where a Zerg player had to resort to Cloak Wraith to fight against Hydras. What was that game in ASL where it was down to the wire? It was a very bonker kind of game, and the Terran player, after destroying Zerg's 2 hatcheries, is facing a single hatchery Zerg player, but the Zerg player keep on sending units to his main base and destroying everything, and the only way he could have survived is use the Cloak Wraiths to attack Hydras and Lurkers. Anyways, more battles happening later. Life is most my thought very nice situations happening so far. Jaedong is gonna need in the base soon. For the timing, he's content with whatever his side of the map has. And Forge is gonna go to this area and he's gonna be able to cast a nice Dark Song to survive forward. The Defiler will be alive for some time, and that Defiler is gonna cast yet another unit. He will cast yet another Plague. Possibly he's gonna have to cast something on the Lurkers, so we wouldn't reach at that time, but now nice splash damage is attacking this other Defiler. Need to go for it. The Defiler might get sniped. He's gonna cast something. He's not yet casting anything. He's gonna fall back. He's gonna be waiting for more units to come out, and he will cast a nice Dark Sun to save the day here. He need to cast one more, maybe possibly a Plague. A Plague is better on those tanks, but he comes out with a lot of queens, and all those tanks are falling very quickly. The raids need to come forward. The raids are cloaking. These queens are running back, and it's gonna be Hydras to spot from the map, so this base has been saved. And mass raids is not something we'd expect to see in a late game TVZ, but anyways, here we are. It looks like Jaedong's gonna try to push the enemy back, like 169 supply. Jaedong has 67, but who's gonna be the triumph here? I guess the Terran player would usually scale better. Look at these raids going Overlord hunting. This is like Corsairs. This is like, we don't really see it in high-level TVZ, but, very nice to have these kind of very rare builds from both these players. For the time being, Jaedong is gonna have to, I think he will need another base. Look at the mineral situation. Jaedong always rolling around 200 minerals, 300 minerals, and Light's got 1,200 minerals. I mean, Light is almost on the verge of maxing out, and he will have a lot of minerals left over. But anyways, Jaedong, he needs to use his Nidus now to go and back and forth between the various bases, attack, and possibly go for a drop. Also, a drop would be nice at some point in the future. He's gonna try to break this area so he can reinforce all of his bases together. And these tanks are gonna be doing some splash damage, some friendly fire on their own troops. There's still 3 tanks remaining, so this attack failed. And Jaedong's gonna have to do something else. He cannot attack without the fighter. That is not something you want to do, and these tanks are gonna be shutting from the outside. More Overlords gonna get sniped here, but Jaedong is gonna get on the high ground. He's gonna be very careful. Need to lay down a Dark Storm right now. He does go for the first Dark Storm. He will cover the first line of tank. He will go for maybe possibly a Plague. He will cast another Dark Storm. All of those Lurkers are within the tank reach. Maybe try to attack the tank itself to go for smash damage. This queen's gonna be hiding out. He's just waiting for the moment to attack. We're looking at 27 minutes of the game. I mean, the first game only, and it's so long. Look at all of these Cloak Wraiths. They will all die to a single Hydras attack, or maybe some Mutualist attack. Anyway, some battles happening in the map, and these tanks are actually not siege, so they're not that far, but there's gonna be a splash attack of those mines, and those tanks are exploding like popcorns. Namkraft terminologies for you. More attacks happening in the middle, and looks like these raids are completely useless. They're gonna cloak themselves for the time being, but it's gonna be better to send them back to the raid museum. And possibly go and repair them one by one. But I would just send them all to one base and use like 7 SCV to repair them. But he's not doing that. And more attack happening in the middle. I think Light is kind of losing grip game, right? Possibly. Zerg is coming through in bind time. In these kind of fights, Light need to be really good with his APM. His APM is only around 300. You need a lot of APM to constantly lay new mines, move tanks around, siege, unsiege, and make stuff at home, whereas Zerg is usually more about A moving. I think Zerg is very much about A moving. Anyways, one more queen is gonna get destroyed, these plays gonna get saved, and it's gonna be the moment for queen to start to move across the map now. Light is completely exhausted his raid count. This attack is between very nice. He will cast a good Dark Storm, but looks like the Zerg force already exhausted himself. There's gonna be some nice mind drag on the tank. He will cast a good Dark Storm, but looks like all of the Zerg forces have all died. Keep in that mind that they've all died, and this base is gonna go up, so Jaedong's gonna survive for a while, but his money situation is not good. He's got a lot of armies in the middle, but he needs to use them. I think you need to just keep on sending them towards a new base. These queens are being able to actually buy a lot of time here. We're going to be having some more. Are these drops? There might be drops. Those overlords are coming out. There's going to be a lot of baby queens getting deployed here. Amazing amount of attacks, and of course now he needs to kind of go back and he needs to run away because Red's going to be hunting for them. Looks like some Zerg is coming out, but he needs Hydras. The Queen's going to be here. Looks like Hydras are here to attack, and those vultures going to fall here. Very, very nice. And maybe he can try to go for that ensnare thingy, right? To slow down the rate would be a good idea. Not bad at all. We'll be having more attack. It looks like light 2,800 minerals. 2,800 minerals. Some new base is going to come up for both these players. Who's going to be the triumph here? It's going to be a very difficult call to make. 38 minutes of the game. The game is still going on. I guess Knight, even with his maxed out army, is not in, clear for the win here. I think Jaedong could still have a chance to come back. I don't know. I mean, this is really, one of those examples where we see the full potential, unmasked by, math differences and skill level of the players and upgrades. This is where both of the players have fully maxed out their upgrades, and we truly see which race is natively advantaged to win, I think. So look at this situation where both the players have even supplies. Upgrades are all about the same, the number of bases are about the same, positioning is all about the same. They have exhausted all of the tech trees, and now they are free to play whatever style they want to play. Is it Mech? Is it Queen? Is it whatever? Cloak rates even. So let's see who's going to be trying here. More attack to the fighter going to come out, and these hands just going to be able to have some nice shots. But three lurkers going to be within reach of the tank. That tank is going to have to fall back, like it's not saving it. He's going to fall back, but there's going to be a lot of sciences coming out, and it looks like Queen is gonna. There are no queens here, but I mean, like Jaedong, the Zerg player, is gonna have some problem. He has some reserve forces. He's gonna be going for drop, but what he needs to go towards his other base to try to save the expansion. The expansion has survived for the time being, and yeah, I guess he can just survive for a while. Looks like his cloak rates are gonna try to come back, and there's some Scourge coming out. He is, scouting the situation. Scourge is coming out, and a lot more Scourges. He's gonna have to find those cloak right there, trying to hide. Go inside the main, go and find them. Looks like the cloak is gonna find trying to go out there, so that's gonna be very nice. A very tense situation. 31 minutes of the game, and I need to get out of here. I cannot be in this bathroom, forest, or basement, or airport forever. But anyhow, some more battles happening, and there's gonna be some vultures trying to assault from the outside, and Jaedong is able to hold for the time being. Both of the players are just down to what I guess Light will also exhaust his mineral count at some point. Keep that in mind. I think this play style usually favors, Light more because he doesn't trade so much. This command center is floating over. He's almost getting ready to land. I guess before you land, you actually need to clear the creep. More attacks happening in the middle. So Jaedong is slowly trying to, cut off any kind of reinforcement. He might also want to attack against the 6 o'clock base. Anyways, attacks gonna happen. Then he finally got something right now. He's eating a Hydras. He needs to cast a Dark Storm. He's eating some drones. He will cast a Dark Storm just to buy time. But these guys are encroaching on his ability to actually defend correctly here. More attacks, and this is going to be within reach of the tank. The tank needs to unsiege right now. He needs to unsiege, and looks like the Lurkers are actually not going there, but they're going to start to go there. But great splash damage just to buy so much time. Anyways, more battles happening in the middle. I think Queen is not Queen. Jaedong is in a very sister spot, but he's going to attack against the 6 o'clock base. This base has been mining for a while, so I guess Light will not mind trading it for like 10 Hydras because he needs to cut out the amount of Hydras the other guys got as much as possible. But more Queen come out. These Queens have been saving their energy for a while. They will cast about 6 or 7 spells to get all of these tanks, and they will back up here. The Hydra's going to be able to protect those Queens, and those Queens can go into hiding for a while. But more attacks happening into those tanks, and we almost have a splash damage there. But now it looks like these Hydra's going to back up. And for the time being, we're going to be having these units once again still surviving. More sciences are coming out. The command center is gonna start to burn down here. There's gonna be an infested command center, possibly. Why not? Another attack. Scourge is gonna try to come through, but they won't be fine because they're way too many lives. But he's gonna start to come out once again, and those Queens are going to go for what exactly? Not so sure. Just flying blindly into their deaths. More Lurkers gonna be deployed. Jaedong is still surviving, but his drone count is not so good. He needs to start to send some more drones to that new base because this is where he gets most of his minerals. Once again, Chance will be sieging on the low ground, but of course, if those Queens are available, they will be able to come out and attack. It looks like Jaedong is going for a huge counter-attack in the middle. I'm not sure this is the right idea. He needs to assume that he can actually defend against encroachment at the 4 o'clock base before he started to go for the attack, but for the time being, he's hoping that his endless Dark Storm and Plague will be able to save the day here for him. Nice attack. There's almost a Mind Drag introduction, but at the last one, they are not able to go through. Zerg is attacking against this base. This base, of course, doesn't really have any value, except for that new commentator that's being being constructed. That's that. But Jaedong is still able to hold for the some time. Zerg is going to try to attack against a brand new commentator who's being constructed right now. He's trying very, very hard, but this commentator is lifted already. So we're going to be seeing, that commentator possibly getting relieved by the reinforcement from the back. Jaedong is still able to hold here. He's going to cast. He's going to cast endless Dark Storm in that location. It's going to be very, very hard. But this attack against his brand new base, have very few mineral patches remaining, so Jaedong's going to send the rest of his drones out to another base. Anyways, this Science is going to get sniped here. I think possibly, no. Yeah, both of the Science will die. Very good attack. This commencer is very close to dying. He actually needs to have some signs. This will be some Defiler support here. The tank's going to try to move back. There's going to be some Mind Drag, but looks like there is possibly enough tank here. They're not sieging. Without siege, it's going to be very, very difficult. He comes out and he's got to siege in from the back, which is nice here. The Hydras going to try to surround. The number of Hydras are falling fast though, and these heavily upgraded tanks have triumphed. And the commander is floating to the wrong direction. They need to float out to the other side towards the 10 o'clock position. But anyways, we're looking at the 35th minute mark of the game, and Jaedong is still in this game. He's still in this game. But, I think his days are numbered. And as for life, is he mining? I guess he's still mining. Out of some bases. Anyways, Hatchery is going to finally fall. Commander finally come out here. Did Jaedong research job? Because it's very easy to drop that base from his main. And Jaedong has GG, so Light has won this game. I'm going to put this game in the list of best game for this year. So if you enjoy this game, through the Binance company itself, it's going to be in the video description. Bye-bye.